All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting once again to order. We will resume. Where'd Ferris go? He said he was here. There he is. He took his coat off. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off. Geraldine?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon to our department leaders who have joined our session today. We appreciate you all taking time out of your busy days to be here and be here with your commissioners in the spirit of brainstorming and in the spirit of doing the good work on behalf of the citizens of Waxhaw. I'm Geraldine Gardner. I'm the Executive Director of the Central Iowa Regional Council. We're happy to have Waxhaw as a member and to support you on various activities that we do, including board facilitation. And I'm here with my colleague.
Hello, I'm Kasha Thompson. I met many of you on Zoom the other day. Thank you for being part of that conversation, and I'm excited to see you in person. And our department is Strategic Engagement and Technical Services, so that might be something we can have conversations about later. We're here to support you, build relationships, and connect you to the things you need to know around the region. So with that, we would love for each of you to introduce yourselves. You may or may not have been acquainted with the board yet. So please stand, share your name, your department, and we'll move through the entire staff. Congratulations. You do not make eye contact.
I'm Andrew. I'm Parks and Facilities. Sorry, I'm a little nervous at the moment. I was just put on the spot and I had candy in my mouth. So I'm with Parks and Rec. I'm Andrew, and I am the Deputy Director of Parks and Facilities.
I'm Janet Pirano. I'm the Assistant Planning Director.
Dina Sabinski, Park and Rec Director.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bradley Lucor. I am your Public Information Officer and Communications Manager. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to see all of you today.
Tough act to follow. Melissa Johnson, I'm the Deputy of Recreation with Parks and Recreation.
And I'm Robin Vire, Deputy of Admin for Parks and Recreation.
And now moving over here.
I'm Bradley Cowick, Public Service Team Leader.
Matt Cohen, Public Service Director.
Kevin Robinson, Development Services Director, and that's inspections, planning, and engineering.
Laura Baltmiskas. I am the Interim Downtown Director, Business Development Director. Oh,
am I doing it? Okay. Okay. I'm Michael Canova. I'm an intern at Town of Waxhaw. All departments.
Hello, my name's Orion Holtai, a town engineer.
Hi, I'm Paula Ezel. I'm the Administrative Assistant for Public Services and the Cemetery Manager.
David Timchula. I'm the Facilities Manager.
I'm Brandy Stroud. I am the Deputy Clerk.
Susan Lee, Administrative Services Manager.
Dina Adams, Assistant Finance Director.
I'll stand up, it won't make much difference. I'm Rosie Dodd, I'm the Finance Director.
Emily Learned, the HR Director.
Sure. Hey, I'm Matt Dellinger, I'm the Town Attorney.
Scott, anything you want to say to your team before we jump in to this afternoon?
Run. That was for y'all. No, welcome everybody. Glad to see everyone. This is a great opportunity to work together with the board as they're trying to prioritize their goals and objectives for the year. And so what we have for you folks today that will help you as board members are experts in their field, folks who have been here both short time and long term, and hopefully we can assist you folks as you need information search for answers on things as you work through your prioritization. In the end, it's y'all's, but we're here to help you out with that. They'll be back in tomorrow morning to do some presentations for y'all, just to bring you up to speed on where we are with things for the year. And that's what will finish everything out. But today they're here to help you as you folks formulate what your strategies are and where you want to see things for the year.
All right. So we're just going to orient the team leaders here to what we've been doing so far this morning. We've had a couple of objectives for this meeting. We're going to be focused on the one that's highlighted in yellow. To collaborate, we talked this morning about a team of teams. So the commission is a team, you all are a team, and Scott is your quarterback or pitcher, I don't know, goalie. So working together and leveraging your strengths for the good of the town. So what we're going to do this afternoon is talk about the vision, talk about the future of Waxhaw. What it's not going to be is a coming to conclusion and writing an actual vision statement. What we're going to do is some brainstorming, right? So all of you have different perspectives from where you sit and different levels of experience. We want to pull that out and have you all working together to generate some ideas about the future. The second thing we're going to do is to talk about priorities and talk about the interconnected issues that this town is facing and go through a framework process in small groups to help identify how those issues connect, the role that the town plays in those issues, and then start to think strategically about how to prioritize solutions related to those issues. At the end of the day, it's the commissioner's decision, it's the commission's decision what the vision and what the ultimate priorities are, but you all are a very important part of the team to lend your expertise and perspectives. A couple of ground rules that we went over this morning that I'll just talk about for the good of the new folks in the room. Be present and be engaged. I know, there might be a finance emergency or someone falls off the slide at a park and rec facility, but we would love you to be present. If you need to make a call or return an email, please step outside and do that. Stay curious, right? Ask good questions. We're going to have you working with the commissioners today. Use this opportunity to get to know them and share your perspectives and expertise. Lead with respect. Right? Everyone's point of view and position is valuable. So we want to hear from you and ask for what you need. So if an instruction isn't clear, we're going to be doing a lot of group work. There's a lot of process this afternoon. So if you're not clear about what you're doing and what the instructions are, chances are someone else isn't clear either. So raise your hand and ask, and we can make sure we are all marching in the same direction. You all good with these ground rules who joined us? Excellent. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. This afternoon, we're going to talk a little bit before we get into our interactive activities about kind of the strategic framework and strategic planning in the local government context. Some of you who are familiar with strategic planning, it is a tool that you can use as an organization to point a direction into the future and set a clear path for getting there through a series of goals and strategies. It's also a way to measure progress and performance. So have you done what you said you were going to do? Are you reaching your goals, and how do you measure that? Strategic plans start with a clear foundation. What is your vision? What is your mission? What are the core values that are driving your decisions and how you're treating your customers and each other in pursuit of your goals and your vision? So today we're going to talk a little bit more about vision, but that really sets the stage. If you know what you want to be in the future, you can define clear goals to achieve that vision. Those goals can be achieved by a set of strategies, and ultimately that can be measured, right? So Waxhaw is going to be the best place to live in North Carolina. How do we get there? What are your goals to achieve that? And then how is each department contributing to that goal through the work that you do, either through core services, investments, or other activities that you offer your community? Again, today's objectives is really to bring about a shared understanding about the town's future vision, okay? It might be that after our brainstorm today that the town wants to lean into formulating a clear vision statement and starting to put the pieces together for a strategic plan. But it might just unlock some ideas that as you are doing your budgeting process and talking about priorities for the town, we have a general understanding of where we want to go, and we're going to use that to make decisions. We're going to talk about some of the challenges and opportunities for those of you who participated in the pre-meeting survey. We got a lot of really good information. We're going to talk about how that relates to your vision, and more importantly, how all these issues connect to each other, right? Your residential growth driving your traffic problems, your residential growth driving concerns about unbalanced tax rates, the capacity of the town staff to meet the service expectations of a growing community. These are all issues that came through the survey, and they're very complex, right? So we're going to take some time today to unpack them a little bit, hear from all of you, and then we're going to walk you through a framework to really start to analyze these issues. We're not going to solve them today. If we had that, we could retire early and go home, right? What we are going to do is try to give the board some tools and perspectives to look at these issues objectively, and then for you all to use that framework to help set some priorities. All right, so we're going to lean in a little bit to the vision component of this, talking about the future of Waxhaw, and I'm going to turn it over to Kasha to talk a little bit about visions.
So your vision statement, it's not a reflection of what the town is today. It's the town that you want to be in the future. And it's going to set you up to take steps to get to that future. And it's going to align all of you to a common future. So the purpose of a vision statement is to declare what your organization aspires to be. Again, not what you are today. It's aspirational, forward-thinking, right? How many of you have seen the create a headline as the basis of an exercise around visioning? It needs to be clear, memorable, and unique. How many of us have had vision statements you can't even maybe remember but 3 words of it? It's a whole statement rather than a longer statement rather than something short and memorable. And it's the North Star. It's what everybody's working together to achieve, and that's a big important part of it. You have to work together toward this common vision. It reflects the future. The mission statement reflects the present. So the mission is how you're going to work together to get to that future vision. So the importance of a vision statement, it's supposed to be inspirational. When you're onboarding an employee, what's the fastest way to get them to understand what your organization stands for? It's through this vision and mission and values work, right? And it's also going to attract the kind of people that you want to have in your organization. It's going to pull together people that are focused on the same things that you may feel are important. It's meaningful work. So when they're bought into that mission statement, they're going to be more productive each day because they feel, especially in the government space, that their work is bringing value to the community. It's bringing value to the organization. It's a promise to your stakeholders. It's so the community knows exactly where the organization stands and what they can expect of you. It's also a way for them to know what you expect of them as community members and their relationship with the government organization. And it informs the rest of the strategic plan and the organizational strategy. It's what everything cascades from. So here are a few examples of vision statements. 3 years ago, I was with Cabarrus County, and we were working with Central Lina on our strategic planning process. And when we started our process, it was under the idea that the state of North Carolina told cities and counties what they can and cannot do, right? We're all familiar with that. So rather than creating a vision statement that was external, it was more internally focused. It was how do we become more efficient and effective as an organization to achieve the things that the state of North Carolina said counties do. And we also tried to be very succinct, to the point, and memorable. Cabarrus County strives to empower people, act intentionally and decisively, and focus on the future. That's a t-shirt, right? We were able to make t-shirts and things out of that so that everybody knew where they stood and how they contributed. Then you have areas like the town of Harrisburg that were more reflective on outward connections. Harrisburg will be a distinctive, family-focused community where memories are made. It's external, but it's still short and memorable. You know where they stand. So good practice in writing a vision statement. It should be clearly written to describe that future state. The most important thing is the organization influences. So that future state, I like to call it a stretch, right? It's not who you are today, it's what you need to stretch to become. It's almost a way of setting up what your next brand will be. Should be inspiring and motivating, a call to action. Why do we do this work? Why do we show up every day? When you talk to your employees, how are you going to communicate that information to them and make them understand that they're a part of it? It provides a clear framework to establish your goals. You're starting from the same place and you're going in the same direction. So taking a look at the survey, thank you all for participating in the survey. I appreciate it. If you didn't have a chance to participate, you'll still be able to add to the conversation and make sure your thoughts and opinions are expressed within that. So based on what you said to the question, what 3 words or phrases would you like to use to describe the town of Waxhaw in 10 years? You have 3 color codes up here. The top one, the gray, is thoughts that came specifically from the board that were not echoed by staff. The middle is where you all have a lot of common ground. And I ordered those based on the number of times it was said. So economic prosperity in various forms was mentioned multiple times across the board. And then the items on the bottom were things that the staff reflected that the board did not necessarily pull out in their thoughts yet. So that's where we start the conversation. Are there any questions about what you see here? Are there any surprises? Yeah, it's a great list. So let's look at the vision statement of 2015. We're going to jump in the Wayback Machine because this is still where we are today. Waxhaw is a friendly, vibrant, prosperous town where history and creativity build an enduring, safe, and healthy community for people of all ages to live, learn, work, play, or grow a business. Any thoughts on that? I've heard a lot of those words expressed today. Does it still feel meaningful? You're shaking your head.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
I would say that that vision statement still echoes true, but it definitely could use some a revisiting in 2015. What do we need to do to essentially evaluate essentially for the next set of essentially what are the next lenses that we're going to be looking at for 2040, 2050, 2060 now at a certain point of what Waxhaw is it does grow, and it has grown. And where are we looking to reinforce the in-between of where, the live, learn, and work?
Yeah. We have a sandbox to play in right now, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump in the sandbox and acknowledge that a lot of what we say in this statement and a lot of what we say here is the same, right? There's going to be echoes of the past. But how do we make it relatable to the people and the organization we are today? And that's where you all come in, because how many of you were here in 2015? Okay, a few, yeah. So you would say, not working here, but did you ever imagine in 2015 that the town would be where it is today? No. It's entirely different. So when you're visioning, think about the difference between what it was in 2015 when this is written and the town you're going to write for in 5 years, right? 10 years. Think about those leaps of where we're going. So don't be afraid to take chances in this sandbox, right? This is the time. It's on pieces of paper. We're not putting it on an official sign and hanging it outside. This is paper, sandbox, think big time. So with that, we're going to start an exercise. Geraldine and I will pass out a sheet. You are going to review the inspirational sources and brainstorm a vision. Waxhaw will be. So I want you to think about, we'll have all the comments you put in the survey at the top of the sheet, so you'll be able to reference them. But I want you to make sure that you're thinking about that future state, not today. What will it be in 10 years? And with that, think about how much the town has changed over the last 10 years. Go that far with what you're thinking. Beware of lists. We don't want to use a list unless it's a very strategic move to make. So don't just copy down the things that are on the sheet. Try to think beyond the words and think about the outcomes or the meanings or how it's going to sit. What does it actually look like? Clarity of language is key. Avoid the jargon. Try to stay away from a statement that would work in any municipality. What is uniquely Waxhaw? And there you go. Be unique. So with that, we'll pass out the sheets. Again, think big, think bold, take chances, have fun with it. Nobody's going to hold you to it. Like, this is just a chance for us to discuss. And we want everybody at tables.
So what I'm going to suggest in the process, I want each of the commissioners to stand up and, would like each of the commissioners, people at this table, to stand up and find a staff person to pair up with. Okay, so you guys pair up with a staff member. And for any of our department leaders who are not claimed by a commissioner, pair up with each other. And move, like I see a lot of park people over here, move out of your comfort zone, get out of your departments, find somebody else that you work with so that we can really mix up the perspectives. You can move wherever you want. Find your pair. There's a whole table over here that's empty. Are the instructions clear? Okay. You guys have to find pairs too.
Working so well so far.
Tina, would you like to partner up with?
Come on, hey, come on,
Ryan, up there. Do we all get a sheet or do we?
One quick point of clarification. Can I get everyone's attention real quick? One point of clarification on the instructions. Everyone has a copy of the worksheet. We need one person with great handwriting to be the scribe, okay? Because you will be sharing out.
We'll give it another minute or so, and then we are going to share out.
I think we got there.
All right, folks are saying they're ready to go. I'm hearing a lot of conversation. I know you're so excited to share these vision statements. I am ready to be inspired by your ideas. I'm so excited for this. All right. Are you ready to start? Okay. All right, we're going to start reading out these vision statements. I want you inspired. I want you to feel it. I want you to see where this organization's going. Stand up and share, please.
I will. All right, listen up. Listen up. I am. Got it ready to go. Are you ready? Okay. Waxhaw is a welcoming and vibrant community that preserves its unique heritage while embracing economic prosperity.
Say it one more time because I was talking over you.
Okay. Waxhaw is a welcoming and vibrant community that preserves its unique heritage while embracing economic prosperity. We have the best group over here.
We are motivated. We are ready. Was that the entire group, or do we have a second statement? Okay, that was a collective there. All right. Are we ready?
So ours is Waxhaw will be a charming family community that embraces its history and integrates innovation to drive strategic growth and economic prosperity.
Okay, folks, we did a massive rewrite on this. We rethought the whole thing. We are pushing the bounds of the time-space continuum with this one. So follow along. Waxhaw is a friendly, vibrant, prosperous town blending history and creativity to build an enduring community for all people to live, work, play, and grow a business.
I heard a Back to the Future reference, and I'm not hating it.
Yeah, so we didn't realize we were supposed to put this together as a full statement, so we made bullet points. Waxhaw will be connect the old and new, preservation of the history and family-focused feeling of our town, economic opportunity. Give it up.
Our small town charm preserved through intentional strategic growth, strengthening families, and fostering connected, thriving community.
Yes.
Kasha, have him read it one more time.
Yeah. That was really thoughtful.
The small town charm preserved through intentional strategic growth, strengthening families, and fostering a connected, thriving community.
That's good. Well done.
All right, we went short and sweet with ours. We said Waxhaw will be a welcoming and friendly environment that allows people and businesses to thrive as a community.
The Thrive is alive. All right.
I got a few things here, but I kind of went short. I said more of the same because there's a lot to like about it. But I guess you could take that different ways. The place you want to stay, the place you want to stay with everything you want. Yeah. That's what I
Should
got.
say your original because it's funny.
Everything you need. Oh, the place you don't need to leave.
It sounded a little dark.
Which one? The last one? The place you don't need to leave. The place you want to stay. More of the same. That's good.
Yeah, we don't say that.
You want to, you can't. It's mind games, right? You don't want to leave. You want to stay in the traffic. Yes.
Waxhaw will be a family-focused community with a strong sense of place where thoughtful innovation and small business growth strengthen our commercial tax base while preserving the character that makes our town unique.
Very nice.
We said Waxhaw will be a town with a vibrant downtown, known for strong community interaction, parks, and recreational outlets.
Very
nice.
Waxhaw will be a stable community where service motivation can flourish in a leafy historic setting, and its representative government is an example to all.
There you go.
Okay, Bradley and I have Waxhaw will be a focused town where urban conveniences meet a community lifestyle.
Read it again. Stand up. Say it to the back.
Waxhaw will be a focused town where urban conveniences meet a community lifestyle.
Oh, okay. So ours is a community that is a safe and charming, a community that is safe and charming with economic growth that retains its quaint hometown feel.
All right. I've got Waxhaw is a community where we weave our history into where we are going, where we are driven by responsible growth, innovation, and providing a safe place for all to thrive.
Okay. Waxhaw will be a prosperous and strategically managed family-oriented community filled with historical charm and creativity for people of all ages.
Waxhaw will be a welcoming home for families and a flourishing hub for local businesses where a community, connectivity, and historic charm meet fiscally responsible leadership.
Very nice. Did we hit all the groups? All right, great.
What were some of the key words? Now it's on. Okay, good. I got the thumbs up from the back. What were some of the key thoughts and words that you heard a lot as people were sharing out? Prosperity. Okay. Innovation. Prosperity. Family. Community. History. Responsible. Welcoming. What phrase was memorable to you? We talked about vision being memorable. So what caught your eye? For me, Emily, it was the term weave. I went right to it. That was very memorable. What were some other memorable little phrases people came up with? Yeah. Anything come up? Leadership.
The one that was in Matt's.
Community lifestyle, okay. Anything else? All right, what I'd like you to do, I asked you to write legibly. Hopefully you did. Whoever has your legible vision statement on the piece of paper, come up and grab a little blue tape, and I'd like you to post them up on that wall back there, okay? I'm gonna... Commissioners, come back to the table. All right. Mayor, can I, Mr. Mayor? All right, if I could have our commissioners and the mayor back to the table. We're gonna, yes. Okay, so we're gonna do two things simultaneously. And as part of that, take a little break. So, my commissioners, your task in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna give you each 2 dots. 2 dots. There'll be 2 different colors, a green dot, and what other color dots do we have? Oh, we have purple. Let's do purple. So green, you're gonna go over there in this 10-minute little break that we have as we move stuff around. I want you to go over there to that wall, look at the statements. I want you to use a green dot for the one that really speaks to you, like there's something here. And a purple dot for the one that maybe is a strong second, okay? We're not making, this is not a vote, this is just to kind of get a sense of, like, as our leaders of the town, what's resonating with you from this brainstorming exercise, okay? That's what you guys are gonna do. Kasha's gonna give you your dots. for our teams here, we're going to break you up into, we're going to do in this next exercise, we're going to have teams of 5. So if at your tables, you could count off by 5. Oh, you already did? Way ahead. All right, so in your 10 minutes, you're going to move yourself to your labeled table. So this is going to be table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, and right here will be table 5. So that's what you guys are going to do over the next 10 minutes. You'll be at your tables. You can take a bio break if you need to, grab something to drink. By 2:05, you should be at your table, and commissioners, green dot first preference, purple dot second preference. All right, I think everyone is back in the room. And you guys are doing awesome with following directions today, so thank you. Let's just do a quick little pulse check readout of what the commissioners thought of these concepts. So with 3 green dots and 1 purple dot, we have some synergy here. I'll just read this for everyone for the good of the group. A welcoming home for families and a flourishing hub for local business where community connectivity and historic charm meet fiscally responsible leadership. Some good head nods there. All right. Down here, we have 2 green and 2 purple. Waxhaw will be a prosperous and strategically managed, family-oriented community filled with historical charm and creativity for all ages. Also good. And up here in, let's see, 2 purple, 1 green, Waxhaw is a welcoming and vibrant community that preserves its unique heritage while embracing economic prosperity. Also good. And a lone purple dot up here in the corner, still good. A focused town where urban convenience meets a community lifestyle. Short, sweet, and memorable. All right, so for our commissioners and the mayor, any last reflections on this exercise? How would you like this conversation to continue? Do we want to push towards finalizing a vision statement?
I mean, this is definitely a unique exercise and a good opportunity to just kind of reflect on our mission statement, what it's been and what it's meant for us over the last 10 or 15 years while we've been kind of trying to live through it. There's some good ideas and some good thoughts here, and I think it's definitely one of those things that the board should consider whether or not we want to update our mission statement or our vision statement, and I think it's something that the board can continue to talk through and work through these ideas and kind of workshop.
All right, so when we do the report and kind of wrap all this up, we'll obviously capture all this and give you some recommendations on how you might continue the conversation. All right, you guys ready to press on? All right, so we're going to talk now about some of the challenges and opportunities facing the town. So we asked in our pre-retreat survey, for those of you who participated in it, to answer a couple of questions about challenges and opportunities. And if anything that I think we have all learned in our various roles in local government over our careers is that our municipal challenges of today are not linear. They are not simple. They are very complex and are interconnected. You pull one lever or push one domino and all the other dominoes are going to go down. You are shaking your head. Give me an example of how this shows up in your work.
Well, you can make a decision and that decision affects either other departments or it definitely, in my department, it affects the community hands-on in that moment with Park and Rec. So you have to be very strategic, but very mindful of how that works and communicate with the other departments to make sure that you minimize that effect on them.
Thank you. So when we asked you all to simply state what you think the highest or the best opportunities are for the town and the greatest challenges, obviously what we got back was a very interconnected web of issues. And those 3 questions that we asked in the survey, the last one is also very interesting. What challenge that you listed presents the greatest long-term risk if not addressed, and why? And we got some very diverse answers to that, but also reinforced some key observations that we had about the results. There's a lot of synergy on what you all thought the key challenges were, which is good. If everybody was all over the place, then that's an agenda that's going to be hard to wrangle. Your challenges that you identified included both drivers or causes of other issues and symptoms of other issues. So a driver, if one of your main challenges is, let's say your tax base driven primarily by residential growth, right? That's a symptom of a driver of a lot of rapid residential growth, right? It is an effect of those decisions. So it's interconnected. Your ability to influence and control over a lot of these issues varies wildly. And a lot of your constituents want you to do things that you don't have the legislative ability or the delegated responsibility to address. And then obviously some of your challengers are more resource intensive, both capital and operating as well as staff. So what we did is we took all that input and we themed and came up with 12 challenges based on your survey results. And I'm going to have, here, let me give you a couple of these. There should be 6 copies that you all can have this as a reference. There you go for you. 12 issues. Now, is this every issue under the sun? No. Are these descriptions perfect? No. So you got to give us ourselves a little grace. This is what we came up with. Oops, not a stretch break. But what we're going to do today is really try to unpack these very complex issues. Today is not about problem solving, okay? Today is about creating shared understanding and giving the board good feedback to help come to some priorities for your town. So we're not going to be solving how do we get more commercial development. We're going to be talking about how that issue is related to others, what is the role of the town on it, and then how do we make progress in understanding its relationship to others. So the first thing we're going to do is do a little issue mapping. Oops. But what I'd like to do is just give you all a few minutes to review this list, digest it, make some notes, because we're going to be working with these 12 things for the next little bit of time. These next few steps are the last things we're going to do today. So just read quietly to yourself, ask questions at your table, but let's just make sure we've got a clear understanding of these 12 things, okay? space per table, is that what we said? Yeah, I just need at least one. Yeah. One. All right, so let's just take a little moment to come together before we give the instructions. So, thoughts on this list? It's about right? Okay. Anyone see anything off? Not listed? What is your thought on this list?
Well, this is it in a nutshell. I mean, we have other things, but these are the priorities that either A, we can do something about, but mostly our hands are tied with a lot of these issues and are dependent on other partners to play. And if they don't want to play, there's not much we could do to get them to recess.
Great segue, because we're going to kind of talk about that role piece. Any questions for clarification? Anything look off to anyone, or is this there's a shared understanding in the room? Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do and how we're going to work with these 12 issues. So the first thing that we'd like you to do, Kasha has passed out, I think, how many copies per? One copy per table. So you're going to have to kind of gather around. And on these cards is a summary of each of the 12 issues that you have on your reference sheet and 2 questions. The first question is how this issue connects to others. So we're kind of mapping cause and effect, right? Traffic is related to residential growth. Capacity is internal capacity is related to funding. Now it could be quick, right? You don't have to bend your mind about this. So just take a few minutes to map those connections. The second question is the town's role. So there's 4 choices. Control, you own it. It's your asset, it's your decision, it's your policy. Second is you influence it. You don't fully control the outcome, but you can definitely shape it. A shared role is you have maybe a shared decision-making partner. And the last one is advocate. You have a limited direct role over the issue. So this question is really important because when it comes to prioritization, if you're trying to prioritize an issue you don't have control over, you can run into some roadblocks. Right? So it's important that we have a clear answer, at least to the role question for every issue. So that's your task. You can do all of these. We're going to give you a set period of time. You can focus on the issues that are most important to your group, but you're going to do those 2 things. How is this issue connected to others? And what is the role of the town of Waxhaw on this particular issue? Are the instructions clear for each group? So you're going to pick a scribe, someone who's going to write on that worksheet. Everyone good? All right, have at it.
We have about 15 minutes left in this exercise, so if you've only done one or two, think about moving to a couple others.
Can I give everybody's attention real quick? Sorry to interrupt your conversations, but we're gonna make this a little interesting. We're gonna throw a little wild card into the process. So I'd love all of our commissioners to stand up and rotate one table in this direction. Yes. right, we're going to move the commissioners one more time. One more time, move the commissioners. One more time. right, we are calling time. So if you guys want to head back to your groups, stay in your group. Stay in your last group. Head back to your seats. Sorry. Yes, go for it. Go for it. All right, so before we move on to the final thing we're going to do today, I think Kasha and I just want to hear a little bit about how this exercise was for you guys. So just a couple of popcorn reflections. Kasha, what question should we start with?
What was it like to hear staff perspective on things like resident input? Because I think the boards hear one set of input from residents and staff hear a different one. So what was it like to hear staff or board talk about resident perspectives? Who would like to take, who is excited to take that one? Okay.
It's already live. Pleasantly surprised, very cognizant of the direction and what the town citizenry wants, and they kind of understood that. And I liked that their perspective when we went to a staff-driven indice, that we kind of learned from watching what their perspective is inside the building. And again, I always use the term subject matter experts, so I got to learn from that perspective. But they're very, very aware of the feelings of the citizenry.
How about staff? Anyone want to talk about?
Commissioner, did you want to jump in on that? You're just grabbing a mic. Oh, my extrovert is ready to go. So staff leaders, what did you learn from engaging with your commissioners? What was a little aha moment from this experience? Don't be shy.
Brad always has something to say. So Brad.
Oh, me?
Yes.
I learned that the commissioners deeply love this town and they represent the values of their elected constituents.
Oh, come on, Barbie.
Let's go like real world Waxhaw, right? Let's have okay, real world Waxhaw. Let's talk about board perspectives. What did you learn from the board? What did you learn from the board?
I don't think we get it. I mean, we hear it too. We get it. So from that perspective, I don't think it really was that much different. We hear it every day too, just like the board does. We see it, we read it, and we understand.
It's a lot of shared understanding and awareness. Was there a particular category that generated a lot of debate in the indices? Or where did you get maybe stuck or have some conversation, Scott?
The differences in the capital. So the three capital ones, I think we kind of looked at and were like really struggling to segregate them and prioritize, just work our way through that. That's where we got stuck.
Was there a category missing? You're like, oh, I wish we had a column for this.
Everything.
Kevin.
I won't say one was missing, but a lot of these, number 2, you have 2 years on there. That's a great metric. It's easy to measure off of. Some of these are low in the immediate and high in the long term, and then vice versa. And really, depending on how you're thinking about it, it makes a big difference. Yeah.
It really forces you to think about what are we going to do with the short-term resources of the next couple cycles. Kasha?
I have a question for the board members. You were talking earlier today about the value of having data. Actually, we should go over here, right? You were talking about the value of having data and making informed decisions. So how did talking through the categories listed today give you perspective on what kind of data or what kind of information you'd like to see on agendas or in work sessions, et cetera, as you discuss topics?
Ooh, you're putting me on the spot now. When I reflect about this, essentially this exercise that we just went through, one thing that I picked up that was easily, for me, we have a lot of subject matter experts already on hand. And for us, it's about hearing, essentially, and evaluating where we can find refinement and hone down essentially a little bit of the policy lenses that we as Board of Commissioners are using and to help build but not replace the framework that is already existing. I think we have some good cornerstones already, but for me it's more just right now I'm still trying to absorb all the data, being a new commissioner, and sitting down and talking with you all about hearing essentially organizational capacity. We had an open and honest conversation about losing some of our experts in certain categories, and how do we fill in between with the staff that we do have. It is a tug of war. It requires capital and time, and phasing some of those together is something that I've picked up in the conversation.
All right, so we're gonna make meaning out of these very vibrantly colored charts in this final thing that we're gonna do. So in your groups, we would like you to look at your charts and find the patterns across your high, medium, and low rankings. And as a group, work to identify your issues roughly in these 3 tiers. So a tier 1 issue would be one where you've got a lot of highs, right? A lot of things identified, high signals, and this issue will really materially affect the town's success if you address it. So those are your tier 1s. Your tier 2s are still important, but maybe they're not ready. Maybe you need a little bit more information, a little more clarity, a little more resources, maybe more partners or advocates, or maybe those are the issues that are pretty constrained by external forces. And then the last tier would be your monitor. They're there, they're not going away, but you might not be able to impact them. It's a lower risk if they're delayed, or maybe you have a limited role. So work together, identify what issues belong in each tier. We're gonna bring you a flip chart piece of paper so you can write that clearly, and then we're gonna report out from each table your tier 1 issues. Instructions clear? Okay. Yeah, sorry, blue's 2. You're done scribing. Everyone can go back to their original seats. Yeah, or you can stay where you are. The commissioners need to come back to the table. We're gonna break up number 5. You guys can go back to your original tables. And then our final group, group 2, I've got some blue tape. All right, we're going to carry this train to the station. We are almost done, but we're going to get a report out from each group. So what I'd like, who are my presenters? Raising their hands. Okay, so my presenters, we're going to ask you to focus on your Tier 1 recommendations and give a little bit of a why, okay? A little bit of a why. You can phone a friend and ask for help from your group if you need to. And for those of you who are presenting after the first person, think about building on the ideas of the other. So notice the own patterns. We also have economic diversification as a Tier 1. So don't just repeat, kind of build on what you see from the presentations before you. Make sense? All right, who is this lovely, is this group number 1? All right, come on down. Yeah, you can team up. You can team up.
Okay.
Make sure everybody can see.
So should we just list the ones that we put for Tier 1?
You're going to present your Tier 1 and why.
Okay, so for Tier 1, we put economic diversification, rapid and predominantly residential growth, long-term fiscal sustainability, infrastructure capacity not keeping pace with growth, and unbalanced tax structure, revenue, I don't know, it's a mix, okay. And the reason why? Scott? Yeah.
I don't really know. Test. We really didn't get that far. We just listed them.
So thinking back on your check marks, why did some of those rise to the top in comparison to some of the ones in Tier 2 and Tier 3? Sorry, I was not. Why did they rise to the top?
Yeah, if we can solve these issues, then everything else kind of falls into place.
Excellent. Round of applause for group number 1.
Ryan, let's see here. We pulled an audible, and instead of thinking about the assignment, we just copied the list verbatim. No, because you will notice this is in the same order that it appears. What was interesting is we did all the scoring, and the Tier 1 stuff scored the Tier 2 stuff scored as if it was Tier 1. But then when you look at the lists in its entirety, thinking about the priority, the real priority of things, that's when we'd kind of pulled the audible and basically switched the tier 1 and 2. And basically made tier 1 is all about the rapid growth, economic diversification, the tax structure, and the fiscal sustainability. And when I think you consider fiscal sustainability and tax structure, you start to realize those become the backbone of everything. And that's why we, again, pulled that audible and shuffled them to the top. And then as far as the tier 3 stuff, just to kind of go over that, service expectations it was kind of a tier 3 one, along with organizational capacity. These are things that we can really kind of control a little bit more directly. Historic preservation, unfortunately, was a tier 3, as well as an unclear vision. The town's going to work whether it has a vision statement or not. It's just going to do what it needs to be done. And then limited local control, that was a tier 3 purely because of the limited local control. So we have no control over that. So that's how that ended up in tier 3. If we had more local control, then maybe some of this stuff would be tier 2 instead of tier 1. But anyway, that was the list that we came up with. And any questions? All right.
Let's see, this pink group right here, who's that? All right.
Okay, so we did, like all the others, we have our tier 1. Basically, we felt that the tier 1 was the catalyst for everything else within tier 2 and tier 3. So without addressing economic diversification, long-term fiscal sustainability, I have to get my sheet because I can't read my shorthand. That's not good. Can I see your sheet? No, this sheet. This sheet. Yeah, this sheet. This sheet. Okay, so capital improvement needs, infrastructure capacity, and organizational capacity and workforce. If this wasn't addressed first, then the others would not be able to be accomplished. But if you address what's in tier 1, then everything will flow through for tier 2 and tier 3, and you'll be able to manage that with a little bit of ease.
Thank you. So we added the organizational capacity and the capital improvement into the tier 1 group. Thank you. Great job. All right. Green team. Green team.
Green team. So to build on what was already outlaid here, we had the rapid residential growth as a tier 1 priority. Capital improvements and needs and there's a backlog, and we all are very familiar with a handful of the tier 1 issues that are already were challenging us currently, will continue to challenge us again and more into the future, is because we have had essentially a steady log of residential rooftops coming forward as well in the future. A lot of it, of course, tier 1 transportation and traffic. We all understand that there are aspects within our control, within town's control, but we also understood too that there are partnerships and outside influences within that traffic and infrastructure piece. Organizational capacity is something that we did felt like it was a tier 1 issue. It was an issue that we're essentially making sure that we had the right essentially tools within our own house to continue to handle some of these day-to-day issues and also be able to sustain essentially our experts and in-house compared to going to outside resources at times. Tier 2, economic diversification. If you, adjusting the economic diversification will adjust some of the capital improvement needs over time. We had a debate on how to rank the essentially economic diversification, but ultimately felt that it was something that was important, but yet we're not yet ready there on what is that total vision for diversification. We have a good core, but yet what is that next step? And so that's why we ended up there with Tier 2. Tier 3, well, a lot of it was essentially Tier 3 monitoring and background. All of it needs a little bit of essentially active coaching. We felt like within the list, nothing is so much so of a priority to where we just need to really have it just an issue that's not ready for us to be involved in, where we're just monitoring it in the background. All of the issues today, I believe, before us need some form of essentially active management or active input.
Last but not least, Kevin.
Okay. We actually, let's see how this shakes out here. I'm going to try to justify it. But we ranked ours and we weighted everything with points, and then we kind of just plopped them on there. So we're going to see what happens. I think it worked out well. Tier 1, rapid and predominantly residential growth. I don't want to demonize residential growth. Everybody wants homes. But really, if you look at some of the items in Tier 2, a lot of those are directly impacted and are at least partially the result of number 1 for different reasons. So that's kind of your foundation there. Long-term fiscal sustainability and cost pressures, that's kind of your roof. Tier 3 or Tier 2, unbalanced tax structure and revenue mix, capital improvement needs, and backlog, infrastructure capacity not keeping pace with growth, economic diversification, and commercial development. Those are all some of the symptoms there. They're inside the house. We do have a number of Tier 3 items as well. Transportation, traffic, and connectivity constraints, organizational capacity, workforce sustainability, community character, and historic preservation. Unclear vision for Waxhaw's future, which I personally think we're getting started on right here, which is great. Limited local control and external constraints. Again, it's, as the mayor said, there's nothing we can really do about that one, but it does cause issues. Service expectations versus service capacity. Those were all important in their own right, but a little bit less than your Tier 1 and your Tier 2 items.
All right, a little round of applause for that group. So just kind of looking at the patterns across how you all shared out your results, the 4 of the 5 groups had residential growth and long-term fiscal stability as the common thread across. And then we have infrastructure common in 2 groups, unbalanced tax structure, also 2 groups, organizational capacity, and CIP. And I didn't write down 8. Does anyone have their cheat sheet? Capacity. Oh, what was 12? Sorry. Economic diversification. I transposed those. So economic diversification, 2 groups, and organizational capacity, also 2 groups. Transportation, 1 out of the 5 groups lifted up as a Tier 1. So how to use this, how to go forward. Obviously, the final priorities for the commission is up to the commission. You can think about when you're in your presentations tomorrow, right? When the staff leaders are presenting on tomorrow's agenda, think about how your work ties into these emerging priorities. How are your core services, your facilities, the work that you do on the day-to-day helping to drive forward either solutions to these top challenges or ways to address them for the town moving forward? It seems to me there's a lot of shared synergy in the room on the things that you all should be focusing on, which is great, right? As an organization, as a local government, if you all were on different sides of the room, you would have a very challenging time moving forward. So this is, I think, a really positive outcome to affirm that. The real rubber hit the road moment is going to be the specific solutions and investments that you want to make to move the needle on your top issues, which is something that, additional planning and synthesis through your budget and other activities is going to bear fruit on. But I think in terms of what we set out to accomplish today, the afternoon session really built on the teamwork objectives that we had. The morning session obviously created some awareness and understanding for you all as commissioners and how you can work together, and then how the team of teams can work together moving forward. So overall, I think you guys worked really hard this afternoon. Hopefully the insights that you had from your conversations were worthwhile, and then the insights you had about where you needed to go as a team of teams and as an overall town also came out in the conversation. So before we close out, just wanted to open it up with the room for any kind of final comments or thoughts from the commissioner, from the mayor, from staff on insights, ahas, or appreciation that you want to show for each other for today's conversation and today's deliberations.
Well, I think it's really important. I was encouraged by the exercise itself, how it involved folks from one department to look at the town from a 360 perspective and getting everybody to think in those terms, even though they may not have to on a day-to-day basis, but it does, I think it really helps kind of put the direction of the town in proper perspective. And then that's where that vision comes a lot clearer for everybody.
Great.
And I wanted to thank everyone for participating, and I think it's clear that we have more in common. Our direction is focused, and sometimes, not that we're working in isolation, but we're not always in this type of environment. The work sessions are an effort to bring us to another day like this, but having gone through 2 other retreats that were not like this, this was definitely something I enjoyed doing, and it wasn't just digesting 2 days worth of information for a year-long plan that, it's hard to make decisions when given all that information. But this shows our focus, and then we can, tweak it from here, but it's definitely a direction that we can see we have in common. So I appreciate it.
Awesome.
I know for me, just spending time together, it's a multifaceted organization is the way I keep looking at it, with uniqueness and individuals in every department that make that department special in itself. So spending time today and tomorrow with you all, just getting to know you all, conversing with you all, and then hearing through these exercises in an organic way that we're all seeing the picture through similar lenses, through a similar scope. And then just working as a commission together to prioritize and how to elevate these tiered priorities and where we can focus our energies, focusing them to the best of and the wisest of our abilities. And so just spending today with you all, I just wanted to say and echo my other commissioners' sentiments. Thank you.
Great. All right. Mr. Mayor, any closing thoughts from your perspective?
In closing, I'll just say thank you to everyone for participating and participating enthusiastically. I think everybody was fairly engaged the entire time you were all here. So I just want to say thank you for that. I know these things can be a little bit tedious and sometimes they feel childish, but I think they're very necessary. This helps clearly define what the focus needs to be, I think, and the fact that that came from the entire group, the fact that all these concepts and problems and issues sort of have been sort of percolated through the entire group to give us a very clear priority, I think is a very good thing. And it helps the board feel more confident in some of the decisions we're making, and while giving you all a little bit more sense of direction and too. So I wanted to say thank you.
Scott, anything else you'd like to add?
Okay, tomorrow we shift gears a little bit, but we're going to keep all this up. And I think it's good to have it up. Sorry, do that to you. We'll take pictures. Okay, you'll take pictures. All right. The reason being is they'll sit here. You guys have 3-minute pitches, 3 to 5 minute pitches. They're one-pagers that the board's going to get. And then you have 10 minutes to ask questions back per group. So think about that. We've gone from having 30-page reports to one-pagers from everybody. Based upon what you heard today and the exercises that you have and getting to know folks and issues better, I think it should help you tomorrow. You get a thing. We're not done after that. My recommendation after that is that we get this collected with the COG. It comes back to the board. The board then in a public setting can discuss it and affirm it, change it, modify it, but you'll have your direction. You have the final say on that. Staff will then have a book. You'll have that information behind you, and you start work sessioning your way through the year. It doesn't stop and start with budget. It doesn't stop and start with a particular issue. It keeps going all year. That's kind of the job you're in, and we're here to support you. So we're really looking forward to tomorrow morning, 8:30 sharp. We'll be here to give you our best, and I think the staff with the COG's help. Thank you so much, Tasha. I mean, just absolutely fantastic, helping us get direction. Bradley put a focus together where the staff could really hone in on giving informations, deliverables, expectations, all kinds of things, and good information for you folks. So we're really looking forward to that tomorrow. It won't be like drinking from a fire hose, because you'll have today to have absorbed a lot of what you may have heard over a couple days worth of stuff. So thanks to the COG for really helping us be part of this together and to help you folks be the best commission you can be.
Great way to end, Scott. Thank you very much. You will be getting our report with all these materials. So we do need your big posters. So please don't. I know you might want to walk away and frame them and hang them up in your office, but we do need them. So we'll take that back. It's been our absolute pleasure to spend the day with all of you, and I hope you have a great session tomorrow, and we look forward to continuing the conversation.